Students, in last class we have completed sixth chapter. The name is Basic Concepts of Object Oriented Programming, and I have sent you the notes of this chapter. So here I am just briefly reviewing this chapter notes. So this is the notes for the sixth chapter, Basic Concepts of Object Oriented Programming. So here double OP, OOPS, means Object Oriented Programming. So this is the full form, Object Oriented Programming. So what is Object Oriented Programming? So Object Oriented Programming is a method of programming. So it is a another style of writing program. So here proper definition is Object Oriented Programming is the principle of design and development of program using modular approach. So some of the object oriented programming languages. So in examination question may come, write example of a object oriented programming language. So there are many languages which uses this object oriented programming technique. So the languages are C++. So C++ is a object oriented programming language. Another language Java, C#, and like many other languages are there. So most commonly for your syllabus you have to study C++ language. So C++ is a programming language, especially object oriented programming language. So in last class already we have discussed there are different types of programming techniques. So names are procedural programming, structured programming, and object oriented programming. So procedural programming means in this programming method or technique, importance is given to procedures or functions. So in procedural programming technique, importance is given to procedures or functions. And in structured programming, so importance is given to control structures like loop structures, execution control structures like if else, and looping structure means for loop, while loop, do while loop, like this. So these are called as control structures. So in structured programming they are mainly used in structured programming. Next, last method is object oriented programming. So in object oriented programming, importance is given to objects. So programs are divided into some units or modules or objects like this. So next topic is difference between procedural programming and object oriented programming. So this is very important topic because in examination you may get a question on this for 5 marks, like what are the differences between procedural programming and object programming. So you have to explain any 5 differences between these two techniques. So difference are this is very easy. The differences are, so in procedural oriented programming, programs are divided into functions, and in object oriented programming, programs are divided into objects. And in procedural programming, data is not hidden and can be accessed by external function, but in object oriented programming, data is hidden and cannot be accessed by external functions. Means in procedural programming, external functions can use the data from any part of the program, but in object oriented programming, external functions cannot access the data without permission. Next is procedure oriented programming follow top down approach in the program design. So top down means in procedure oriented programming, programming or program parts are written from top level to bottom level. In object oriented technique, follows bottom up approach in the program design. So In object oriented programming, programs are written from bottom level to top. In procedure oriented or procedural programming, data may communicate with each other using functions. Means in procedure oriented programming, communication is done by functions. So data communicates through functions in procedure programming, and in object oriented programming, objects communicate with functions. So last difference, emphasizes on procedure rather than data. Means in procedural programming technique, emphasize means importance is given to data, but in object oriented programming, emphasize means importance is given to procedure. Sorry, so actually, okay, once again I will tell. So in procedure oriented or procedural programming, emphasize means importance is given to procedure or functions. Means here in procedure programming, functions are very important, but in object oriented programming, emphasis is on data. Means importance is given to data, so data is very important here. So this is about differences between procedural and object oriented programming. Okay, next, basic concepts of object oriented programming, or it is also called as characteristics of object oriented programming. So there are total 9 characteristics of object oriented programming. So this is also very important topic, because in examination it will come for 5 marks, or at least it will come for 2 marks. If it comes for 2 marks, then you have to write, it will ask in the exam about any 2 characteristics. If it is asked for 5 marks, then you have to write all the characteristics. So first, object. Okay, so you have to remember these definitions. What is object? So simple answer is, object is a collection of data members and associated member functions. So object is a collection or group of data members and associated member functions. Then next, what is class? So class is a collection of objects that have similar properties. Means class is a group of same type of items. Next, data abstraction. So data abstraction means what? So abstraction means summary. So data abstraction refers to the process of representing essential features without including background details. Means in data abstraction, in this technique, only important points are displayed and remaining details are hidden. Next, data encapsulation. So encapsulation means packing or covering. So data encapsulation means the wrapping means covering. The covering of data and function into a single unit is called data encapsulation. Next, inheritance. So what is inheritance? So inheritance is the process by which one object can acquire and use the properties of another object. Means in inheritance, one object or one class can reuse the properties of old class or old object. Then overloading. What is overloading? So overloading means overloading allows objects to have different meaning depending upon context. Means overloading means same thing or one thing can do many work. So that is overloading. Then polymorphism. So polymorphism, poly means many and morphism means form. So many form. So polymorphism means the ability to take multiple form. So polymorphism means the ability to take more than one form. Then dynamic binding. So these are some technical words, so you have to remember the definitions. So what is dynamic binding? So dynamic binding is the process of linking procedure call to the other parts of program during execution. Then message passing. What is message passing? So message passing is a technique of communication. So in object oriented programming, objects can communicate with each other by sending or by passing messages. Then advantages of object oriented programming. So this is also important for 5 marks. This can be asked in the examination. So you have to write any 5 advantages. So there are 5 advantages given in this notes. The programs are modularized based on principle of classes and objects. OOP reduces code duplication and code reusability, and creation and implementation of OOP code is easy and reduces software development time. Okay, so these are the definitions, just you have to remember. So data encapsulated along with functions, providing better security. And in OOPS, it is easy to develop complicated software. So like this, these are the advantages. So already we have discussed in detail in the last class. So here just I am revising these notes. So disadvantages of object oriented programming. So again here 5 disadvantages are given. Object oriented programming creates large program size, and it is slower, means program written in object oriented programming technique runs slowly, so it is not suitable for all types of programs. To convert a real world problem into an object oriented model is difficult, and OOPS software development, debugging and testings are not standardized. And last topic is applications of object oriented programming. So here total 8 points are given, but in examination you have to write any 5 applications, like computer graphics application. So OOPS is used in computer graphics applications. It is used in CAD CAM software. CAD CAM means computer aided design, computer aided manufacturing, like this. And object oriented database. And OOPS is used in real time systems. It is also used in simulation and modeling. It is used in client server systems, and it is used in user interface design like Windows, and it is used in artificial intelligence and expert system. So in this chapter, okay, so this chapter is for total 7 marks. So in examination you will get total 7 marks from this 6th chapter, basic concepts of object oriented programming. So you will get 2 questions from this chapter, one question of 2 marks, another question of 5 marks. So total you will get 7 marks from this chapter. So here I have given notes. So these notes covering in 1 page only. So in this, from this 1 page you will get 7 marks in the examination. So try to read and try to remember these points. So this is very small chapter, just 1 page chapter. So from this 1 page you will get total 7 marks in the examination. So you will get definite questions. So like difference, basic concepts or characteristics, advantages, disadvantages and applications. From these 5 simple topics you will get 7 marks in the examination. So try to remember by practicing on the paper. So this is about basic concepts of object oriented programming. Okay, so next chapter is chapter number 7, classes and objects. So that, okay, so next chapter is chapter number 7, classes and objects. So this is a 6 marks chapter. So from this chapter total you will get 6 marks. So from this chapter you will get 2 questions in the examination. So 1 marks question, one marks question and one 5 marks question. So total you will get 6 marks from this chapter. So this is very easy chapter. So in this chapter also limited topics are given. So in this chapter we have to study how the in last chapter we have seen what is classes and what is object. So this class and object are the characteristics or properties of object oriented programming. So in this chapter we have to study how to create classes or how to create objects, how to use class and objects like this. So all these things we have to study in this chapter.